Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. I'm Grant. So today I'm unboxing a game from one of our good friends, David Thompson, called By Stealth and Sea. Let me go ahead and pull the... Oh, it's really big. I had to grunt. By Stealth and Sea, Italian human torpedo attacks during the Second World War. From Dan Versen Games. And you may be asking yourself, what the heck? Well, David has done a lot of research, extensive research. He also partnered with Nicola Sagini on this game. This is a solitaire game where one to three players, actually. You can, because typically there are three teams, so you could play with three different people, dividing those subs up, and I think that would work very well. But David has created a very interesting and interactive solitaire system that follows these two-man submarines as they try to infiltrate British harbors in the Mediterranean Sea during World War II. Some were more successful than others. Sometimes they were total blunders. Sometimes they were really great successes. But he has modeled this game to create, I think, a very interactive, very fun and interesting simulation of these raids, using a lot of very interesting mechanics from kind of a point simulation or a point economy where you're trying to use your points appropriately to do things like move or repair or attack or submerge or resubmerge, etc. He also uses a very interesting deck of cards that really models the defense network for each of these harbors. As you're going to pull cards and count those down, certain cards are going to be removed throughout time. It's going to be harder and harder as the game progresses through each scenario. But I found this to be very interesting. There are 9 scenarios involved in this game, so you can play them individually, trying to best what happened in history, or you can string them together and do a campaign. I think the interesting thing about the campaign, we'll talk a little bit more about this when we look at the units. As units are killed or captured, they will then not obviously be available for the next campaign mission. So you got to be very careful. You got to try to get your objective. You got to try to submerge or sabotage your own torpedo sub so that the allies don't get their hands on it. And you also want to try to escape once you've ditched and blown up whatever you're trying to blow up. One thing I would point out is the art is just phenomenal. Rudolph Claudus did the art, and I just found it to be absolutely excellent. Creates a very immersive theme. I wasn't that happy with the way this title looked. I know what they were trying to do, a nighttime sea, but man, that's hard to read. But you can see it's a big box, and it's a big box because there's a lot of scenarios in there and a lot of different things going on. A look at the back. Here's the look of a game kind of set up. These are your targets, these brown ships. And then these are the patrol craft. Can you see those kind of orangish brown patrol crafts that are attacking you? And you're trying to get in here and get some of these ships. You can see these aren't worth very many points. The ones that are worth a lot of points are the ones that are better protected by the harbor. But you're going to create your 3-man team of subs, not 3-man, 3-sub team, and then you're going to move. So that's a look at the back of the box, and just a little bit of that history here on that right side. You lead elements of a frogmen unit called Decima Flottiglia Mass. Under your command, teams of frogmen pilot manned torpedoes and attacks against the Royal Navy in the heavily guarded harbors of Gibraltar, Algiers, and Alexandria. So that's a little bit of a look at the history. I did a fairly lengthy interview with David on this game. You can read that on the blog. I also did a preview video of this when it went to Kickstarter. So the first thing we see is a big rule book. Once again, that great art. And then here's a look at the back cover. As you can see, they've kind of moored upside an enemy ship, and they're getting ready to place charges and blow that up. The rules here, fairly understandable. There are 20, I think there are 20, actually there's 29 pages. Some of that's reference, some of it's the technology advancement, which was one of the things that I liked. You can actually improve your values on your attempts as you go through scenario to scenario. Campaign rules are shown there. How harbor defense, the harbor defense phase works, which I think is very ingenious and well done. Lots of good examples. I think David is excellent for doing good illustrated examples, helping us understand the concepts that he's trying to convey to us. Here's some of the different actions available. Let me go ahead and flip that over. You can repair, you can recover, you can full move, change direction, dive, surface, evade, detach a warhead when you're trying to attach it to or to get it attached. Then you can attach that warhead. So there's kind of a two-step process. So even though you make it up to your target, it's not necessarily a cakewalk. You can attack. You can also scuttle your SLC so that it doesn't get captured. So that's a look at the rules. Fairly well done, and I think they're very, very clear. And then here comes that mission guide. Also a very thick book. But once again, remember there are 9 different scenarios. Here is a look at the setup for at least mission number 9 on the back cover. So it tells you where to put the hidden, the units, where to put your units and start, and then how you're going to attack. Here on the right side, you can see your actual submarines. 2-man crew, you have different abilities, you have damage markers. Those red and blue are in essence, whether your stuff is operational or not. You also can have things like breathing gear and wetsuit that help certain things be more doable. Just very well done. But here are a look at 9 of those scenarios. I played in my prototype copy, I believe I played mission number 1 and mission number 2. And that was all I had, and I played and did a preview. But there's a look at that mission guide and the setup. Sorry, there's a glare on there. But very well done. The next thing let's take a look at, and I'm not going to show you every single board. Yeah, there's only 3 of them. I don't know why I wouldn't. Let me move those away. These are mounted boards. Very nice and well done. They are one-sided, and they represent the 3 different harbors. Let me go ahead and set those up. The top one there that I've deployed that you can just barely see is Gibraltar. I'll go ahead and move those around a bit as I just hit the camera. There's Algiers, and then this is Alexandria. So yeah, these are very well done. I think they're, and David attempted a theme or a scheme. These raids were done at night or in the pre-dawn hours, so it's black. Darkness, dark water. You can't really see everything, which is very cool. But once again, Alexandria. Here on the right is Algiers. You can see and then at the top there that you can barely see is Gibraltar. So that's a look at those 3 mounted map boards. They're really nice, very well done. As you know, every Dan Versen game that I have played has always, I think, had great components. Not sure that they've ever had bad components. Here are the actual submarine sheets. I'll just give a quick overview of these. You're going to place your operators here so you know who is on this ship. And then you're going to have these different abilities, and they'll tell you generally from scenario to scenario what these operators have in their skill. Those skill numbers refer to the number of dice that you're going to roll. And then there's a determined result that are shown in the rules. You have to roll 3 or higher to do a repair. You have to do a 4 or higher to do an evasion of a subnet. And those can actually be increased over time, and sometimes your individual operators have higher numbers than others. So it makes it interesting. Also at the top, you can see breathing gear and wetsuits. Those are going to keep you alive. And then here at the bottom, you can see your small SLC. Don't ask me to say what it means in Italian. You can find that online. But it's got your transmission, your ballast, your battery, and your warhead. Those can be damaged when you are attacked by the patrol craft. And you also put action tokens on there, and you can use them to re-roll and take actions, etc. So that's kind of a very quick look, but you're going to lay these out to the side of the map and track your individual members of your team and their stats. Here are a bunch of reference sheets. I'm not going to go through these. I already went over these actions. So there you can see these are very well done. Here is the campaign where you can actually track these on these sheets. So this is, let me see. Yeah, the different missions, you can try to write down how you've done. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to copy that before you start writing on it. Or that way you're only going to be able to do it once. But here's the different rosters. You can pick your pilots, and then you can do custom campaign after action reports as well. I thought a very nice touch and kind of an interesting, what do you call that, legacy style game if you want to call it that. Here are 3 sheets of counters. They're pretty much the same, although they do have, the different targets and different patrol craft. But there's a close-up look at some of the targets. The upper right in the laurels, the number in the laurels is the victory point value that those are worth. You can see that there's a silhouette of those different types of boats, and then they're even named based on historical moorings during World War II. So here are other ships. So you've got kind of your capital ships or your major naval ships, and then you've got your or combat ships. Then you've got your supply and shipping. All of those are worth victory points, but you can see that the green ones are worth 1 and 2. The capital ships are worth anywhere from 3 to 10 victory points. And that's how you're going to determine success and failure over time. They are backsighted because you're not going to know where these individual counters are located. You're supposed to set them up blindly and then go for them, not knowing necessarily always which is which. So there you go. There's a look at the 3 counter sheets. And now we get to look at the, there's some dice. There's a custom 3-sider. That's really a 6-sided die with just 3 numbers on it. Some normal 6s, and then you've got an 8-sider. Those are all used throughout the game. Here are those order discs to track. The warheads are red. To track the health. The yellow discs are to mark those submarines as used or completed with their operations. And now we have two decks of cards. And man, look at that art. That just looks awesome. So while I'm opening those, I think the game, I think it's fairly simple. I'm not going to say that this is an overly complex game, but it does have a lot of detail. And I think it also offers a lot of customization. So here are a couple of the different types of cards. So at a certain, you've got a sequence of play in these solo games. These are called the false cards. You're going to pick these, and sometimes your tanks are going to cause you to have to make a roll, or it's going to be damaged and you're going to have to make a repair check. So there's a whole bunch of those that you're going to, throughout the mission, you draw those and check what is happening. And there's a lot of them, so you're really going to have a good variety of things that might happen. These are simply some of the mission cards, and these are called forward positioning. I can't remember if these were just a variant or if it made it simpler, but there's a look at what those are. And then here, these are the operators, and then the harbor defense deck, which runs the AI and helps them determine what happens, whether you're alerted or whether you've alerted them and they know you are there. And then here also are the different operators. Let me go ahead and it looks like here I can't remember if those were ones you can make up. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But here's a look at a couple of those historical operators. These red cards, and then they've got blue. So you've got a lot of different options to people that you can use. They also, you'll notice, here, let me show you, let me find some that are different. And trying to... Well, some of them have different values for pilot, operations, etc. And you can, use those to give yourself a little bit of... I sound like I haven't... It's been a while since I played the game. This is just an unboxing. So here is that alert deck. Once again, really great art. But this is how every action that you take, you're going to draw one of these alert things, and you're going to roll some dice. And they're going to be alerted on a 9 or higher, and then they will come at you. If you're hidden, and you'll notice, if you're surfaced, the roll's a little bit easier. And I think it's on, was it 2 or 3d6? I think it was on 3d6. But if you're submerged, it's a little harder. The light doesn't reflect off of you. You can see when the defense level is a little bit higher. So kind of as part of that campaign game, the first time you hit these places, they're unprepared. When you hit them again, they know that you have this capability and their defense levels are going to increase. So you'll notice those numbers are significantly better. These are searchlights. These are from patrol craft. But you're gonna pull these, and then you're going to determine... these are laid out to the side of the map, showing which harbor defenses are actually used for that harbor. But here's the numbers. Here's a deck that just is numbered, I think it's 1 to 12. Yeah. And you can see this one says, remove the lowest number. When this card is pulled as part of that alert, remove the lowest numbered cards from the discard pile, maximum of 6, and shuffle the deck. So, let's say you had a discard pile of 4 2s, 4 3s, 2 4s, a 5, and a 6. You're going to remove all of the lowest numbers. So what it does is it makes the deck harder and harder and harder to be found. So anyway, there you go. That's a look at those components. I want to get this one back to the table again because I already know that I've screwed up some of the rules as I'm talking to you about it. But it's been almost a year since I did that preview. So anyway, that's a look at By Stealth and Sea from David Thompson by Dan Verson Games, off a successful Kickstarter. This one's good. Going to be honest, this is a solo game that you can play over and over and over again. You can do each individual mission, or you can do the campaigns. I think it's very good. I think it was a fun experience, and I'm looking forward to trying this one out again. So thanks for watching. I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.